Hey everybody, my name is Karina, welcome back. On today's video, I'm gonna show you how to make delicious tamales de puerco, pork tamales. Cheers! For this recipe, I'm gonna be using 6 pounds of pork butt, and I usually get it with bone-in because your broth is more flavorful. I've already cut it into smaller pieces, so I'm gonna transfer it into our pot. I'm gonna be cooking my meat on the stove, but if you have an Instapot, it'll cut the process in half because it'll cook it way faster. But for now, I wanted to show you guys how to cook it on the stove. I set my pot to medium-high heat and I added 12 cups of water. Make sure that your meat is completely covered. We're gonna be cooking it until it releases all its impurities. It's been about 25 minutes and I'm gonna remove the impurities. I removed all the impurities and I'm gonna add 1 whole onion, 1 garlic head, and salt and pepper to taste. I'm gonna cover it up and cook it for about 3 hours or until your meat is tender. It's been 2 hours and a half. Our meat is now ready and I'm gonna turn off the heat. I'm gonna remove the onion and the garlic. Now I'm gonna remove all the meat. So you can see the meat, it's super tender. And this is gonna be just perfect for our tamales. Because if the meat is not tender or dry, your tamales are not gonna be good. Once all the meat is removed, I'm gonna turn the heat back on medium-high. Add 20 chile guajillos and 2 chile anchos. Cook them for about 10 minutes. While the chiles are cooking, I'm gonna start shredding the meat. It's been 10 minutes and our chiles are now done. I'm gonna transfer them to the blender. And I'm also gonna add some of the broth. Do not get rid of the broth. This broth is what we're gonna use for the masa. And last, I'm gonna add 7 garlic cloves. And now we blend. We're gonna save 1 cup of salsa for the masa. I set my pot on medium-high heat and we're gonna start making the picadillo for the tamales. Add 3 tablespoons of oil. Oil is now hot. I'm gonna add 3 minced garlic cloves, along with 1 small white onion and 2 jalapeños. We're gonna cook them for about 2 minutes. It's been 2 minutes and we're gonna add the meat. Give it a mix and cook for about 3 minutes. It's been 3 minutes and now it's time to add in the tomatoes. I'm using 6 Roma tomatoes. We mix it well until the tomato releases all its juice. After about 5 minutes, it's time to add in the salsa. I'm gonna add another cup of broth to the blender cup to get the remaining of the salsa, and also because we want our picadillo to be very juicy. And I'm gonna add 2.5 tablespoons of chicken bouillon. Now we mix. We're gonna cover it up and let it cook for about 5 minutes. On a separate pot, I'm gonna add 6 cups of the remaining broth, and I'm gonna mix it with the cup of chile that we reserved. Give it a mix and let it warm up because the broth for the masa has to be warm. Now we're gonna prepare the masa for the tamales and we're gonna begin by beating 1.5 cups of lard. We're gonna beat it on medium speed for at least 5 minutes or until we get a whipped cream consistency. It's been about 5 minutes and this is how your lard should look. Nice and fluffy. Once the lard is ready, I'm gonna add 5 teaspoons of baking powder. We're gonna turn it to low speed. I'm gonna use 6 cups of Maseca for tamales and 7 cups of broth. We're gonna begin by adding 1 cup of masa and a little over 1 cup of broth. Make sure to add it slowly. Remember, your broth has to be warm. We keep doing the same until we've added all 6 cups of masa and 7 cups of broth. Once everything is in, we're gonna mix for 10 minutes at medium speed. It's been about 15 minutes and our masa is now done. You can see we have nice fluffy masa. Now it's time to prepare our tamales. My corn husks have been soaking for about 3 hours so that they can be soft. Now I'm gonna pat them dry with a paper towel. Once that's done, I'm gonna start adding the masa and make sure you add it on the soft side. That way the masa won't stick. And we're just gonna spread it. I don't like tamales with a lot of masa. Now we add the meat and you can add as much as you'd like. Now we grab one side and we flip it over. Next you grab the other side, flip it on top, and then you just flip the tail. And then you just repeat the process until you run out of masa. With this amount of masa, I made about 40 tamales. We're gonna fill up our steamer pot just up to this line. I'm gonna put in the steamer and we're gonna add some leftover husks. We add the tamales standing up. I'm gonna add another layer of husk on top. Just make sure you don't squish the tamales. Turn the heat to medium-low. I'm gonna add a rag on top and cover it up. And we're gonna cook the tamales for an hour and a half to 2 hours. It's been 2 hours and our tamales are ready. Now we're gonna open it. I can smell them and they smell amazing. Cheers! It's so soft. The picadillo is perfect. And there you have it, delicious tamales rojos de puerco.